The Watchers are watching, what to remove from your phone and why it matters. Written and published by Lord Kabura's Magic Haven. Introduction. There was a time when people thought they had privacy. When they could walk down the street without the feeling that someone, or something, was watching. But in the digital age, those illusions faded. It all began innocently enough. New apps, shiny gadgets, and sleek new phones promised convenience, connection, and entertainment. But what they didn't tell you, what they hid behind the glittering screens, was that you were the product. It wasn't just your information they were after. It was everything. Every swipe, every click, every word you said, even when you weren't aware of it. Some governments and corporations had their eyes everywhere, using your phone, your tablet, and your smart devices to spy on you without you ever knowing. It started with the phones. At first, it was convenient. "Hey, Jezebel, what is the weather going to be like today?" We'd ask, or, "Okay, search engine, what happens if a dog eats chocolate?" As our phones eagerly listened and responded. But did you ever stop to think about what happens when you don't say the magic words? What happens when you're just having a conversation in your own living room, in the privacy of your home? Did you know your phone was still listening? The truth? Some governments and some big corporations have a direct line into your life. They know what you search, what you watch, what you buy. But it doesn't stop there. Your phone is not just a device, it's a sensor. It knows when you wake up, how many steps you take, when you're idle, and when you're active. Even when you think you're off the grid, your phone's sensors are silently tracking your every move. Then, it didn't just end with phones. No, the web of surveillance grew tighter. Smart TVs, voice-activated assistants, security cameras, refrigerators, and even smart toasters. Every device you brought into your home became a new entry point for them to see into your life. Some big corporations, with their vast databases, track every purchase, every interaction you have with advertisements, every product you browse online, all to predict what you'll do next. They know your habits better than you know them yourself. And that's when the real game began. Some governments, in collaboration with some tech giants, set up silent surveillance grids, using these gadgets as their eyes and ears in your personal life. They didn't need to follow you down the street or hack into your devices. Your devices were doing the dirty work for them. They didn't even need to ask for your permission. Every time you clicked, "I agree," on some of these new apps or services, you handed over your rights, unknowingly signing away your freedom. In the digital world, privacy became a myth. They knew everything about you before you even knew it yourself. Your conversations were mined for keywords, your habits analyzed for patterns. Every picture you posted, every video you watched, every text you sent, was silently logged, stored, and analyzed. Some of these government, with the help of some big tech, could track your every thought and action, from the moment you woke up until the moment you went to sleep. Even then, they didn't stop. Your sleep patterns were being studied, your dreams dissected, all for the purpose of shaping your behavior, predicting your choices, and controlling your thoughts. Remember those ads that seemed to know exactly what you were thinking? The ones that appeared right after a casual conversation with a friend or a fleeting thought in your mind? That's not coincidence. That's precision surveillance at its finest. Every time you think you're escaping their watchful eyes, you're not. They're one step ahead, using your own devices against you. It's a game of control, and you didn't even know you were playing. But the worst part? You let them in. You welcomed them into your homes. You gave them the keys to your life. Because, at the end of the day, who wouldn't want a smarter, more connected life? But this connection came at a price, your privacy. And it doesn't stop there. The next step is deeper control. The information that's being harvested is used to push propaganda, sway opinions, and shape elections. Every time you share a post, every time you click on something, or it's a data point. A tiny piece of you that's used to shape your next decision, your next purchase, and in some cases, even your beliefs. They know when you're weak, they know when you're vulnerable, and they know how to make you bend. Your phone, that sleek little device in your pocket. It's not just a phone anymore. It's a full-fledged surveillance system that tracks your every move, and you invited it in. Imagine this, you're alone in your room, scrolling through your phone, talking about random things with your friends. You mention something totally harmless, like, I need to buy a new pair of shoes, or ask some dumb questions like, what happens if you don't pay your credit cards, and continue scrolling. Hours later, you hop onto a shopping app. Suddenly, an ad for how to get more credit cards or an ad for exactly the shoes you mentioned pops up. Coincidence? Or is your phone listening to you even when you're not using it? Here's the reality, your phone's microphone is always on, listening to every word you speak, even when the app isn't open. Apps and other seemingly harmless tools are secretly recording, collecting your conversations, and feeding them to advertisers. They're tracking your thoughts. Every time you mention a new product or a place, they're quietly logging it for future use. They claim they aren't doing it, they assure you that the microphone is only activated when you use the app. But is that really true? Or are you just the product being sold in a silent auction? The unseen eye in the night. Your phone's camera. It's not just for selfies and video calls. Have you ever checked the permissions for all the apps on your phone? Did you know that many apps have access to your camera at all times, even when they're not in use? It's true. Apps you've downloaded for innocent reasons, like weather apps, flashlight apps, or even photo editors, can secretly activate your phone's camera to see what's going on in your life, even when you're not aware of it. You're walking down the street, your phone sitting innocently in your pocket, while you're minding your own business. But unbeknownst to you, the camera is silently on, capturing everything in your path. The images are sent to who knows where, catalogued and analyzed without your consent. It's the ultimate surveillance tool, you're the star of the show, but you don't even know it. Apps like these are always claiming they're only using your camera when it's needed. But we're starting to wonder, how do they need your camera when you're not even using the app? Are they watching us while we sleep? The data harvesters in the background. This one's a little creepy. Let's talk about what's happening when your phone is off or locked, when you think it's safe. You turn off your screen, but those apps don't just close. In fact, they're still running in the background, harvesting every tiny bit of your data without you even realizing it. It's like a silent parasite. Every time you swipe on some social media apps or marketing apps, your actions are tracked and stored, but it doesn't stop when you stop using the app. Even when you don't touch your phone, apps are still sending data to third-party servers. What kind of data? Your location, your interests, your movements, basically, your entire digital footprint is being collected and stored for profit. The reality here is that some of these companies aren't just selling you things, they're selling your life, your habits, your very identity. Even when you're not using your phone, some of these apps are gathering your data and selling it to the highest bidder. And the scariest part? You have no idea where that data ends up. Have you ever looked at your phone's settings? Really looked? There are things running in the background you don't even know about. Ever heard of tracking pixels? These little sneaky codes are embedded in websites and apps you use, tracking your every move, online and even offline. It doesn't matter if you're not shopping or clicking on ads. Those pixels track you and create a psychographic profile of your preferences, desires, and tendencies. And here's the kicker, even if you try to disable tracking or use privacy settings, these pixels still find a way around it. They're designed to be invisible, hiding in plain sight. Even when you're just sitting in your living room, they're collecting data on everything you do. This information is then sold to advertisers, political campaigns, and other entities who want to control your behavior. So, when you're thinking you've deleted an app or cleared your cache, remember this, the trackers are still there, silently storing your data. The question is, who's watching you now? Even after you delete some of these apps, even after you clear out your browsing history and shut down your device, you might think it's all gone. But is it? Many tech experts believe that the data your phone collects never really disappears. It's kept in the deep, hidden parts of your device, waiting to be resurrected at any moment. Let's say you deleted an app a few months ago, but have you ever wondered why you keep seeing ads about it? Or why old messages from that app seem to resurface out of nowhere? This is because even after you think you've erased it all, the app still holds on to your personal data. It's not just disappearing, it's hiding, waiting for the moment when it can be used again. The true horror. These apps can keep secrets about you for years, ready to reappear when least expected. Your phone, your digital life, it's never fully erased. Even in the silence, it's still keeping tabs on you. Have you ever wondered how the richest, most influential people on the planet manage their digital lives? They aren't just using the latest gadgets, they're also controlling the flow of information around them. It's a game, and guess what? They're winning. But it's not by chance. They're making calculated moves that protect their privacy and keep their phones operating at peak performance. Now think about your digital life. How many apps have you downloaded just because they were trendy? How many times have you given apps access to your location, contacts, or microphone without even thinking about it? Every time you allow unnecessary permissions, you open the door for hackers and marketers to sneak in. By tightening your phone's security, you're essentially building a digital fortress around your private life. The more you clean, the stronger your protection. Now, let's get real for a second. If you want to have control over your phone and your life, it starts with making conscious choices about what stays and what goes. Don't let random apps, endless notifications, or unnecessary permissions control you. You control your device, not the other way around. By taking the time to remove distractions, simplify your apps, and protect your privacy, you're making a statement. You're saying, my data is mine, and I decide who gets access to it. Just like Elon Musk keeps his personal info private by limiting the apps and permissions on his phone, you too can set boundaries. Musk is known for being ultra-private and cautious with his data. He doesn't just give out his information freely, he chooses what stays and what goes, and so should you. His approach? Less is more. Musk's Twitter account, Tesla's privacy features, and his careful handling of tech speak volumes about the importance of digital control. If someone with the power of Elon Musk knows how to keep his life secure in the digital age, then it's clear, we all should follow suit. Chapter 1: Unnecessary Pre-installed Apps, Bloatware. Your phone probably came with a whole suite of pre-installed apps that you never asked for, like carrier apps, extra, tools, and promotional software. This unnecessary software is what we call bloatware. Bloatware apps are those preloaded programs from manufacturers and carriers, taking up space, memory, and even running in the background. Let's look into why these apps are more than just a mild annoyance and how removing them can be a game changer for your phone's performance and privacy. What is bloatware? Bloatware refers to the apps that come installed on your phone right out of the box. They're often bundled in by the manufacturer or mobile carrier and are there to promote services, track user behavior, or provide functionality you may not even want. For example, your phone might come with games, music services, or news apps you never asked for, cluttering up your storage before you've even installed anything yourself. In many cases, these apps aren't essential to your phone's performance. They're just there, taking up space and eating into your phone's resources. Some bloatware apps even run in the background, meaning they're constantly using your phone's CPU and RAM, which can slow down your device and drain battery life. Why remove bloatware? Removing bloatware can bring a breath of fresh air to your device. Here's why getting rid of it can be one of the best choices for optimizing your phone's performance. Many bloatware apps are programmed to stay active in the background, even if you never use them. This constant activity drains battery life unnecessarily. Imagine cutting out all these energy-draining apps. It can lead to a noticeable increase in how long your phone lasts throughout the day. Bloatware apps take up precious storage on your phone. For people who love storing photos, videos, or documents, this can be a huge drawback. Removing unnecessary apps gives you back valuable space for things that matter to you. Less bloatware running in the background means your phone's processor has more capacity to handle tasks that you care about, making your phone feel faster and more responsive. Without those extra apps slowing things down, you'll notice a smoother performance. Certain pre-installed apps can be programmed to collect data on your usage habits and send it back to the manufacturer or carrier. This data is often used for marketing, tracking, or even reselling to third parties. Removing bloatware reduces some of this unwanted data collection, helping you maintain a little more privacy. Go through your list of apps and see which ones you rarely, if ever, use. Many of these are likely to be bloatware. Open Settings, go to Apps and Notifications, and select See All Apps. Tap on the app you want to remove. Some apps can be uninstalled directly, while others will only allow you to disable them. Disabling will stop the app from running and hide it from your app drawer, but it won't free up storage space like uninstalling would. If you're comfortable with it, certain third-party apps can help manage bloatware, like CCleaner or SD-Made. Just make sure you're downloading from trusted sources to avoid malicious software. If you're tech-savvy, rooting your Android phone can allow you to remove apps that otherwise can't be deleted. However, rooting can void warranties and may be risky if not done correctly, so only attempt this if you're comfortable with the process and understand the risks involved. While iOS doesn't allow users to completely delete certain core apps, iPhones do offer an offload feature. Go to Settings, select General, then iPhone Storage. Here, you can offload unused apps, which removes the app but keeps its data for future use. This saves storage without losing information you might want later. For apps that can't be uninstalled, consider removing them from your home screen to reduce visual clutter. Tap and hold on the app, select Remove App, and then Remove from home screen. This way, they're out of sight but still accessible in the app library. Since iOS doesn't allow you to fully remove certain built-in apps, regular maintenance is key. Keep checking for apps you don't need, and offload them as necessary to keep your storage and performance in check. Many of the apps we use every day consume a massive amount of data without us even realizing it. Social media platforms, streaming services, and even some messaging apps can quickly drain your data plan, eat up your phone's storage, and significantly impact battery life. Understanding permissions, what apps request versus what they actually need. When you install an app, it often asks for permission to access certain features of your phone, such as the camera, microphone, contacts, or location. These permissions can sometimes seem reasonable. A navigation app asking for your location makes sense, for example. However, many apps request access to features they don't actually need to function, raising concerns about what they're doing with this data. Types of permissions commonly requested by apps. Location. Many apps request access to your GPS, allowing them to know your real-time location. While this is essential for maps or ride-hailing services, it's often unnecessary for games or photo editing apps. Camera and microphone. Social media and messaging apps often ask for access to these features, but some apps use them without a clear purpose, which can open the door to privacy violations. Contacts and calendar. Many apps ask for access to your contact list and calendar, promising better integration or easier sharing. In reality, these permissions can lead to data mining, where companies collect information about your personal connections and social circle. Why this matters? When apps are granted these permissions, they often gather more data than they need. In some cases, apps share this information with third parties, which can lead to targeted advertising, data tracking, and even potential breaches of sensitive information. By understanding what permissions are truly necessary for an app to function, you can start limiting unnecessary access and reduce risks to your privacy. Identifying high-risk apps, common apps that access location, camera, and microphone without necessity. Several types of apps are notorious for requesting excessive permissions. Let's take a look at some common categories of high-risk apps and how they can compromise your privacy. 1. Social media apps. Some social media platforms are among the biggest data collectors. These apps often request permission for location tracking, camera, microphone, and contacts. While they may use these features to enhance your social experience, they also use them to build extensive profiles for targeted ads. 2. Games and entertainment apps. Many gaming apps, even simple ones, request location and microphone access. For example, a puzzle game or a word game doesn't need to know your location, yet some of these apps will request it anyway. Always ask yourself why a game would need such permissions before allowing them. 3. Shopping and retail apps. Many shopping apps ask for access to your location to offer local deals. However, this data is often used to track shopping patterns and purchasing behaviors over time. Retail apps that don't involve delivery services generally don't need access to location data or camera permissions. 4. Utility apps, flashlights, QR scanners, etc. Be especially cautious with free utility apps, like flashlights or QR scanners. Often, these seemingly simple apps are loaded with tracking software that monitors your location, browsing habits, and more. It's wise to read reviews and research these apps before downloading them. Why are these apps high risk? Apps with access to location, camera, and microphone without necessity can capture data when you least expect it. Some apps may even record audio or take snapshots without any obvious signs, which can feel like an invasion of personal space. By identifying these high-risk apps, you can protect your information and reduce potential data exploitation. Steps to remove or limit access, simple ways to review and change app permissions. Managing app permissions can be easy once you know where to look. Here's how to take control of your phone's privacy settings and limit unnecessary access. 1. Review permissions regularly. Most phones allow you to check which apps have access to specific features, like location or microphone. Go through these permissions periodically to make sure only essential apps have access. Android, go to Settings, Privacy, Permission Manager, to see a list of permissions and the apps that have access to each one. iPhone, go to Settings, Privacy, to review which apps have access to each category, such as location services, camera, or contacts. 2. Limit location access. For many apps, you can set location access to, while using the app, or never. Avoid granting always access unless it's truly necessary, like for maps or delivery services. Location settings, switch location tracking to, while using, for most apps. Only a few apps need continuous location data, and turning this off for others will conserve battery and increase privacy. 3. Disable background permissions for unnecessary apps. Background permissions allow apps to access data even when you're not using them. By disabling this feature, you can prevent unnecessary data collection. Android, in Settings, look for Battery or App Usage to restrict background data usage for specific apps. iPhone, go to Settings, General, Background App Refresh and turn off background data access for non-essential apps. 4. Use privacy-focused alternatives. Consider replacing privacy-invading apps with alternatives that are designed to protect user data. For example, DuckDuckGo offers a privacy-focused browser, while Signal is a secure messaging alternative to other popular platforms. These apps don't collect unnecessary data, so you can enjoy similar functionality with enhanced privacy. 5. Delete unnecessary apps. Sometimes, the best solution is to delete apps that don't respect your privacy. Many of us download apps we rarely use, but they still collect data in the background. If you don't need an app, delete it. By understanding and limiting app permissions, you'll take significant steps toward securing your personal information. Many popular apps are designed to collect as much data as possible, but by restricting permissions, you're choosing to protect yourself. Cleaning up files and photos, why it's beneficial. Old files, photos, and videos can quickly add up, taking up valuable storage space on your phone. Many of us hold on to hundreds or thousands of images, memes, and documents we no longer need, assuming they don't have any negative impact. However, this clutter can bog down your device, reduce its processing speed, and even create vulnerabilities. Improved performance: each file, whether it's a large video or a small document, takes up memory. Over time, this accumulation can slow down your phone's performance, causing apps to load slower, functions to lag, and battery life to drain faster. By regularly cleaning up these files, you're essentially giving your phone a refresh, allowing it to operate more efficiently. Enhanced security: old files may contain sensitive information, from passwords to personal photos to work documents. If these files are compromised, lost, or accessed by unauthorized apps, they can put your privacy at risk. Regularly cleaning your files reduces the risk of storing sensitive information on your device that could fall into the wrong hands. The risks of hoarding digital clutter. Just like physical clutter in our homes, digital clutter can create more problems than we realize. Keeping old files isn't just about using up memory, it can also lead to unanticipated security risks. Increased vulnerability: old files stored on your phone can become an easy target for unauthorized apps or hackers. For example, saved passwords, personal documents, or even outdated backup files may be exposed to malware or apps that request file access. These forgotten files can serve as weak points in your phone's defenses, potentially leading to identity theft, data breaches, or unauthorized data sharing. Data loss: hoarding digital files without organization can lead to accidental deletion or loss of important information. Many of us lose track of what's stored where, making it challenging to find crucial files when we need them. By clearing out old files, you can safeguard and better manage the data that matters most. Steve Jobs famously believed in minimalism, not just in his design choices but in his lifestyle. He kept his workspace, and likely his devices, free from unnecessary clutter to maintain focus and efficiency. Following a similar approach on your phone can create a smoother, more secure digital experience. How to organize your files efficiently. Clearing old files doesn't have to be a daunting task. With a bit of planning and routine maintenance, you can easily keep your phone organized and clutter-free. Here are practical steps to help you organize files effectively. 1. Use cloud storage for critical files. For important documents, photos, and videos you want to keep but don't need daily, consider transferring them to cloud storage. Services like Google Drive, iCloud, and Dropbox offer secure storage options that free up space on your phone. Once saved, these files remain accessible from any device, allowing you to delete them from your phone without losing access. Tip: regularly back up important files to the cloud to ensure they're safe and can be retrieved even if your phone is lost, damaged, or stolen. 2. Organize files into folders. Create folders to categorize your files by type, such as work documents, personal photos, receipts, or notes. This organization makes it easier to find specific files and you need them and prevents them from becoming lost in an overwhelming stream of downloads and screenshots. Tip: every month, go through your files to review what's still needed and what can be archived, moved to the cloud, or deleted. 3. Use automatic cleanup tools. Most phones have built-in cleanup tools that allow you to schedule routine maintenance for your storage. Android's Files by Google app and iPhone's Offload and Used Apps feature help you manage space by clearing cache, temporary files, and unused apps. Tip: set up an automatic cleanup every month. This process removes temporary files and app caches, freeing up space without deleting anything important. 4. Delete duplicate and temporary files. It's common to download the same file multiple times or keep temporary files longer than necessary. Apps like Remo Duplicate Photos Remover or Duplicate Cleaner can help you identify and delete duplicates in your gallery. This small action can free up significant space. Tip: at the end of each week, briefly review your gallery and downloads to clear any duplicate or unnecessary items. 5. Empty your trash or recently deleted folder. Deleting a file doesn't always remove it completely. Most phones keep deleted files in a trash or recently deleted folder for a set period. Make it a habit to empty this folder regularly, as these files continue to occupy storage space until they're permanently deleted. Tip: set a reminder to clear your recently deleted folder every few weeks to ensure deleted files aren't taking up valuable storage. By clearing out old and forgotten files, you're not only freeing up space on your phone but also creating a more secure and efficient digital environment. Managing your files effectively allows you to avoid digital clutter, maintain faster performance, and protect your personal information from unnecessary risks. Taking time to organize, backup, and delete unnecessary files means that your phone will run smoother, feel lighter, and be better protected from potential data breaches. Spotting hidden trackers, recognizing apps or programs that silently collect and sell personal data. Hidden trackers are everywhere, lurking within popular apps, games, and services you may use every day. These trackers gather data such as your location, browsing habits, and even app usage. Companies often collect this data to sell it to advertisers who use it to build detailed profiles of users to target them with specific ads. Some indicators that apps may contain hidden trackers include excessive permissions, apps that request access to unrelated data, e.g., a weather app asking for access to your photos or microphone. Battery drain, tracking software often runs in the background, consuming battery life without your knowledge. High data usage, unexpected increases in data usage may indicate an app is sending data to external servers. For instance, several social media platforms and free gaming apps track everything from your location to your browsing behavior. Even popular weather apps have faced scrutiny over extensive data tracking practices. The security risks, how adware and tracking software can lead to identity theft or financial fraud. Adware and tracking software are more than just annoying, they pose real security threats. Adware specifically refers to software that pushes ads based on your browsing history, often collected without your consent. But it can go further than that. Some adware comes embedded with malware, which can create vulnerabilities in your device, leading to identity theft, financial fraud, or even the unauthorized sale of your data. Identity theft, by tracking details like your location, browsing behavior, and even contacts, hackers can piece together enough information to steal your identity. If they gain access to your personal information or financial data, the risks multiply. Financial fraud, some apps with hidden adware aim to gather enough data to access payment information. Even if you're not storing payment details directly on your phone, trackers that gain insights into your financial habits can exploit weak spots to access bank accounts or credit cards. In 2017, a wave of malware-laden apps on Android devices was discovered, masquerading as popular gaming and utility apps. These apps quietly collected data and often resulted in fraudulent purchases charged to unsuspecting users. Such cases reveal the danger of hidden adware that seems innocent but can compromise both security and finances. Solutions to remove trackers, recommended apps and steps for clearing tracking software without damaging your phone's functionality. Removing tracking software and adware can be simple with the right tools and habits. Here are practical steps and reliable apps to help keep trackers at bay. 1. Use privacy-focused browsers and search engines. Switching method to privacy-friendly browsers can significantly reduce the number of trackers you encounter. These browsers block third-party cookies, ads, and scripts that monitor your online behavior, keeping your data secure while you browse. Tip: make it a habit to clear cookies and browsing history regularly to minimize data collection by websites. 2. Limit app permissions. Go into your phone's settings and review the permissions granted to each app. Disable any permissions that don't seem necessary. For example, a flashlight app doesn't need access to your location or contacts. Tip: both iOS and Android allow you to manage app permissions under their privacy settings. Set a reminder to review app permissions every few months. 3. Use anti-tracking software. There are several apps designed specifically to detect and block tracking software, adware, and even malware. Bloatware, for Android. Bloatware is a popular open-source ad blocker that can prevent tracking at the network level, blocking unwanted connections to ad networks and trackers. AdGuard, available for both Android and iOS, AdGuard blocks ads, trackers, and malware. It also provides regular reports so you can see exactly what's been blocked. Jumbo Privacy. Jumbo helps you manage privacy settings on major apps like Facebook, Twitter, and Google, giving you more control over how your data is shared. Tip: always download these types of apps from reputable sources, like the App Store or Google Play, to avoid malicious copies. 4. Regularly clear cache and data. Trackers can hide within your browser's cache and app data, so periodically clearing this information is essential. Go to your phone settings to clear cached data for individual apps or for your entire device. This process not only helps to remove trackers but also frees up storage. Tip: consider setting up an automatic cache cleaning schedule through your phone settings or with the help of a cache cleaning app. 5. Keep your phone software updated. Phone manufacturers regularly release updates that address security vulnerabilities. By updating your device, you can protect it against new and emerging threats, including tracking software. Tip: enable automatic updates for both your phone's OS and all installed apps to ensure the latest security patches are always applied. Tracking software and adware can feel invisible, but their effects on your privacy and security are real. By understanding where these trackers hide and how to remove them, you empower yourself to regain control over your phone's data and protect your digital life. With simple steps like managing permissions, using privacy-focused apps, and performing regular cleanups, you can enjoy a safer, more private experience. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on the latest tips. And if you enjoyed the content, please like and share it with others who might benefit from it. Thank you for your support.